Welcome to OAC Health Talks. I'm Joe Naglowski, President and CEO of the Obesity Action Coalition, and we are excited for you to join us for this educational series that dives deeper into specific health topics that we know are important to you and the OAC community. Health Talks are designed to empower you while providing straightforward, practical answers and insight from trusted experts. So let's dive into today's topic.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Zake. I am a Master of Social Work and a Master of Music Therapy, and I am a licensed social work and a board-certified music therapist. Today I'm going to be talking to you about using music therapeutically for self-care. So just a little bit about me. I've been in the mental health field since 2006. I have bachelor's and master's degrees in music therapy from Temple University and a second master's degree in social work from Rutgers. I'm a licensed social worker and a board-certified music therapist, and I've worked in inpatient psychiatry, hospice, and currently I work with incarcerated men at New Jersey State Prison. I have 2 children and a dog, and I love to read, sing, and play piano. Singing was my original instrument, and I play piano and sing at various churches in my free time. So, what is music therapy? Music therapy is not exactly what we're going to be talking about today, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a background about it because it lends a little bit of credibility to what we're going to talk about. So, we define music therapy by the American Music Therapy Association's definition as the clinical and evidence-based use of music interventions to accomplish individualized goals within a therapeutic relationship by a credentialed professional who has completed an approved music therapy program. Wow. So that's a lot of information, and what does it all really mean? That's what I'm going to let you know now. So if we're breaking it down, it's the clinical and evidence-based use of music interventions. So what that means is we have tons of research to back up how much music therapy works and how much it can be used for a lot of different maladies, ailments, problems, situations that people go through. So we have tons and tons of research to back this up. It's to accomplish individualized goals. So each patient, person, client, individual is different, and they have different needs. And you, as a person watching this presentation, has an individual need. So we respect the fact that each client and person and patient is different, and they're going to have individualized goals that we're going to address through music. In music therapy, it's within a therapeutic relationship. So the relationship is triangular. It's the client, the therapist, and the music all working together. And the therapist is a credentialed professional, so someone that's completed an approved music therapy program, either a bachelor's program, a master's program, or a doctoral program. So what we're doing today isn't exactly music therapy by this definition, but what it is taking the principles and evidence base that we have from our research, and we're applying it to our daily lives. Anybody can use music, and that's what we're going to do today. So people are probably thinking, I'm not a musician. How do I do this? I don't know what I'm doing. It's in everyone. Music is in everyone. One of the things that I have strongly believe, and it's based on experience with so many clients over the years, but also just my life experience, is that music is in everyone in some way. I have had clients say to me, I don't really listen to music. I don't really like music. But you've encountered music throughout your life. We all have. So I call that our musical makeup. We have had experiences where we've, when we were children and we sang songs with a class in a presentation for our parents. We've had experiences where our mother used to listen to a song in the car when she was driving us somewhere. We've had experiences where a particular song made us think of a dating relationship or a friendship. And all of that makes up who we are. So even if you don't think that you're musical or that you have a strong interest in certain music, you do have a musical makeup and you do have a musical history. So music can be active or passive. If we're not actively making music, if you're not actively playing an instrument or singing a song, we can take our passive music experiences and actively work to make them work for us. So, a lot of people are stressed out for various reasons. Responsive to stress, a lot of people use eating, a lot of people use coping skills that may be in some ways working against them. But we can take our music experience and tailor them to help us cope with whatever is going on in our lives, and then make either better choices or choices that are more suited to make us feel good. And that's what I'm hoping we can do today. Okay, so today's activity is a musical comfort biography. So the goal of this particular activity is to provide comfort, particularly in times of high stress. We go to things that provide us with comfort. In some cases, our coping skills are not great. I know there are certainly coping skills that I engage in when I'm feeling stressed out that don't serve me. For whatever reason, whether it has an impact on my health, whether it has an impact on my relationships, whether it has an impact on my ability to move through the world in a way that works for me. So comfort is what I want to go for here. This is something that you can use when you're stressed out, and instead of choosing a coping skill that is working against you, you're going to choose a coping skill that's working for you. I can't tailor this for you because I don't have your musical experiences. Nobody but you knows what you've been through and the totality of your experience. Anybody can make a playlist around a theme, but only you can make a playlist that's specific to your life experience. So what I want to stress too when we're talking about how to make this playlist and this musical biography is that this isn't like my favorite artist is Stevie Wonder. So while I'm cleaning my house, I'm going to put on Stevie Wonder. I may or may not do that all the time. But that's not the same thing. Stevie Wonder is my favorite artist, and he sings some of my favorite songs, and you'll see that in my own biography that I'm going to share with you. But it's not all of my experience. Stevie Wonder is not my whole musical makeup. So this playlist is going to be tailored to holding you. What we want to create here with this playlist is a holding environment that's going to be a coping skill for you. Okay, so a guide to follow, and I say or not because frankly, this is for you. So what I would say to anybody doing this is that you need to tailor it to you. What feels good for you. But this is a general guideline that I follow, that I've followed, and it's a jumping off point, okay? So first, I want you to think of 5 to 10 times in your life that you felt most at peace. Make a list, write it down, type it out. If you have a brain that retains things, unlike me, you can just think of it in your head. But I like to write things down. So think of the times, not specifically the songs. For me, a time that I felt most at peace was when my children were born. So I would then go and assign each of those times a song. So the song can actually be associated with the time. So if you felt peaceful when your mother was singing you to sleep as a child at bedtime, you might actually want to use that song. If mom sang you Rockabye Baby, you might actually want that to be on your playlist. But maybe you're like, well, I don't know if I want to hear Rockabye Baby on my playlist. So you can move to the next kind of song, which would be that it's lyrically or tonally descriptive of the time. So that the lyrics or the way the sounds fit together describe what was going on. To piggyback off of that, it could also be one song that evokes the same feeling you had then. So maybe mom used to sing me Rockabye Baby, but the feeling I had was love. The feeling I had was warmth. The feeling I had was being held. Do I know a song that makes me feel like I'm being held? Do I have a song that makes me feel like my mother is there bringing me peace? And what is that for you? It's different for everybody. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to think of these times and then assign each time a song. So here are some examples to get you started. It might be a song that reminds you of a beloved friend or family member. It might be a song that makes you smile every time you hear it. If I'm in the car and I'm just pushing through the radio and a song comes on and I think to myself, this is exactly what I needed today. And maybe you haven't heard it in 5 years, but today it makes you smile. That's the song you want on your comfort playlist. A song that represents a time in your life when you were the happiest. So, say for you, you really enjoyed your time in college. What's a song that maybe you and some friends used to play? Maybe as you were getting ready to go somewhere, or maybe you and a roommate used to put it on and laugh with the song or sing along at the top of your lungs. A song that reminds you of a time you conquered an obstacle or fear. What have you been through that you've overcome? Sometimes to gain comfort, we need to remember that we have conquered things in the past, that we have gone through hard times, and we are now on the other side of that hard time, even if we're currently facing another hard time. Reminding ourselves that we have conquered something in the past can really be powerful to comfort you in the present. So, what song represents that? I'm specifically thinking of a time when I was going through a difficult time in a relationship, and there is a song by Whitney Houston called "On My Own," where she's talking about doing things on her own for the first time, and that really helped me feel comforted in that time. Now, as I'm using it, it makes me feel proud. And if I can have that pride come with me into the present time, it can alleviate some stress in this moment. A song that makes you feel alive. A song that when you hear it, it gives you energy. It gives you purpose. It makes you feel like you can do anything. I recall one time singing "Eye of the Tiger" at the top of my lungs in the car, as I was getting ready to do a big presentation. And I'll never forget that, because I remember how the nerves and the discomfort kind of melted away in the face of me singing this song. And it felt so ridiculous to me, but it felt so alive. A holiday song that you could play on repeat all year long. I have a gentleman that I work with who is incarcerated, or I used to work with, and he will often in July tell me that he wants to hear a Christmas song, specifically the Christmas song "Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire" by Nat King Cole. And I've known him for years and years. And the first few years that this happened, I was like, this is odd. So I asked him about it, and he said, Christmas was always the time that I felt most at peace and happiest with my family. So when it's July, I need to give myself a little Christmas for a pick-me-up. But it doesn't have to be that holiday. It could be something, a patriotic song that you could play on repeat all year long. It could be a religious song that's associated with a holiday from your religious tradition. It could also be a song that connects you to your healthiest self. So, what I like to do when I'm feeling stressed out, and what I encourage people to do, is if I am, I think happiness is on a continuum. Happiness and comfort and lack of stress works on a continuum. And the sweet spot is kind of right in the middle. So if I am feeling like I'm far away from that sweet spot on either end of the spectrum, if I'm not grounded, I might not be in a good place. So what I do is I visualize what my life looks like when I'm healthiest, when I am eating foods that make me feel healthy and strong, when I'm my body is in its healthiest place, when I am feeling the most at peace in my body. And is there a song that represents that or makes me feel healthy? And healthy, as all of you I'm sure know, doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean that you're doing everything exactly the way a doctor would tell you to do it. Healthy means a way that brings you peace and comfort and isn't actively doing harm. So not only isn't doing harm, is actually also helping. These are my examples. I can go through some of them just to give you an example. Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra is the last song I played on the piano for my grandmother the day before she passed. And I remember looking at her as I was playing and seeing her just take it in, and she then proceeded to reminisce about seeing Frank Sinatra as a young woman at a theater in New York and just reliving that time in her life. And I'll just never forget how connected we felt. Let's see, I'll just pick a couple of them. The Best Thing I Never Knew I Needed is a song from the Disney movie The Princess and the Frog. And my son and I used to sing that when he was about 2 or 3. We used to sing that to each other. And I'll never forget how that felt. I Can't Smile Without You by Barry Manilow is a song that my best friend and I, who was also my roommate, used to sing all the time when we felt like we needed a pick-me-up. And it never, ever failed to bring a smile to our faces. We had a dance that we did with it. It was a whole thing. Another You is by Brian McKnight, is a song about someone that I love very much. Midnight Train to Georgia is a song that just always puts me in a good mood. So all of these are my examples. Yours will be completely different. I don't expect anyone watching this to even know all of these songs off the top of their head because they're mine. They belong to everybody, but this particular list is mine. When I look at this, I'm comforted. Memories are flowing through my brain. Feelings are flowing through my body. And it's all comfortable. Nothing on this list makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel good, and it makes me feel like I can take on whatever I'm facing. Okay, so you did your list. Now what are we doing with it? And I think that's really the most important part. So you have a tool, and that's what we do in life, right? We get tools, particularly coping skills, and we know we have them, but how do we use it? What do I do with this thing that I have? So my first suggestion is to use it as a wellness resource. Use it when you need that pick-me-up. Use it when you're feeling in a place that you can't see your way out of, that you can't logic your way out of, reason your way out of. Sing it. So I say here, sing it out loud. Yes, you, even you, I can't sing a note, people. If you have to do it all by yourself in the shower or all by yourself in your car, that is fine. But connecting yourself to your voice, if it's a song that has words, can really be powerful because your voice is a part of you. Nobody is judging you when you're alone, except for you. So if you can suspend that judgment and sing loudly and feel connected to what you're saying and singing, that's going to be really powerful for you. Drum on it to whatever you have. Who cares? Who cares? Again, the beautiful thing about music, and one of the things I love about music is, even though a lot of us focus on mistakes we make, music is something that once you do it and you put it out in the world, it's gone. If you're not putting a camera on yourself and you're just listening and kind of drumming along to a beat, even if it's bad, it goes away as soon as it's out in the world. You don't have to remember it. You don't have to dwell on it. The point is just to connect to it. So singing it, drumming it, you can do body percussion, drumming on yourself. Doing that physically connects you to the songs that you are emotionally and mentally connected to. Make a mixtape. Many, many years ago, for those of you who are younger, you never had the pleasure of making a mixtape, but a mixtape is one of the finest things in life, where you can, have a playlist or a group of songs that is specifically designated for something. So if you make a playlist and you label it my comfort biography, Stephanie's comfort, I would call it a mixtape just because that feels more fun to me. But if you want to call it a playlist, whatever works for you. Journal about it. Sometimes we don't realize that we haven't thought about memories in a long time. Sometimes we don't realize that we haven't thought about the way emotions feel in a long time. So writing in a journal about what each song means to you, why you chose the music, what it evokes for you, again, is another physical manifestation of what you're doing emotionally and mentally. And what I would encourage you to do is play around with the order of the songs to make it your own. How do they make sense? Is it chronologically that works best for you? It may be that you want to start with music from your childhood up until now. It may be, I had a client one time who was creating a musical biography, and the way he wanted to do it was he wanted the first track of his CD to be a song that was about his mother, and the last track to be about his wife, and the tracks in between were all his own feelings and emotions. And the reason he wanted it that way, and how he described it, was that these two women who were so important in his life were bookending it and containing him and holding him. And he felt like his music was held by them and their music. And so their songs were going to contain the rest of it. So play around with this. Use it. Remember, it doesn't have to be your favorite song. A lot of the songs that were on my example list are not my favorites, not necessarily things that I seek out all the time. They're just things that make me feel comfort. And using music as a resource as opposed to some other negative coping skill, whatever that may be, can be really powerful and can be a really good replacement. So I want to thank you for listening to my presentation today. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk to everybody. I hope this is useful to you. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or any comments or anything you'd like to share. My email address is my first, Stephanie.Zake, my last name, so STEPHANIE.Zake, ZAIC, @gmail.com. You are more than welcome to reach out if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or ideas about how this can work best for you. I'd love to hear it. And I want to just thank everybody for having me today. And I hope you all have an excellent rest of the day. Thank you so much.
The OAC has a variety of educational opportunities for you throughout the year. but one of the best places you can turn to for quality, unbiased education is our resource library. Simply visit obesityaction.org/library to check out our brochures, articles, guides, videos, and more health talks. Also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notified about any future educational events. Thanks for joining us.